Okay, this is a video response to a question, which was on a video response to a video of mine by Fatblueman. So, Fatblueman, how's it going? Congratulations on, of course, the Maggie Von song video. Featured, geez, I guess already up to 60,000 views by now. And 260 subs, I see, and just like that, I mean, amazing. You're racing up the charts, and congratulations. It must be great for you. And yeah, I've subbed your channel. I think it's I like your stuff. I like your music. What I've seen so far, I've only seen a bit, and I want to see some more. And I'll put some comments on. Thank you for the comments on my videos as well. And your questions. I actually just answered this before, and it came out really long. So I'm actually doing this a second time, and hopefully I'll be a bit more efficient this time, because I can just talk forever about all this stuff. But yeah, no, like you said, you got it. Man, you got the key point. The key point is forcing yourself to do it even when you don't want to do it, because your brain naturally screams out to you when you know an easier way of doing something to do it an easier way. And if you want to listen to music or watch TV, it'll say watch the English show, watch the English movie, read the English book. And you've got to just beat it down and say, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm going to do it in Japanese. And the key to that is finding things that you enjoy doing, so that your brain doesn't scream at you so much to find, and shutting yourself from other options of course helps, but yeah, just basically finding some way that you can immerse yourself in a way that it doesn't feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. So this is a thing, anyone can sit down and memorize a list of vocabulary, but it's hard to continue doing that when you don't enjoy it. So finding things that you enjoy, and I see that you do that. You watch movies, you listen to podcasts, which are all excellent. So yeah, first question was what movies I recommend, and yeah, I should do a vlog on this separately. I think I'm constantly really disappointed by Japanese movies. I think there's a lot of hype and marketing for Japanese movies in Japan that I've got swept up in. I've gone and put money down and watched some Japanese movies, and they've just been complete crap. And Western directors and movie stars, they like to drop names of Japanese directors just, I think, to show how cultured they are. A lot of people rave about Takeshi Kitano, but honestly, like Battle Royale and Brother, I mean, if you want to see some really horrible, crappy movies that make you want your 2 or 3 hours back, those are terrible, terrible movies. And I don't know why he gets so much acclaim, actually. I've been disappointed so many times by so many Japanese movies, so it's really hard to find good Japanese movies. That said, my favorite Japanese movies are samurai fiction, which is just, it's one of those few times you get an awesome concept for a movie that comes out pretty well. It's not an awesome, it's not one of the best movies ever, but it's just a movie. It's unpretentious, and it does what it aims to do, which is it's a samurai story. It's shot cinematographically, it's shot in black and white with use of color every now and then in an interesting way. It's got this fantastic soundtrack by Hote, who also plays the bad boy, the bad guy samurai. And he's just perfect for that role, and it uses humor, but it doesn't try to be a comedy, and it's just awesome. It's a really good movie. I really like it. And there was a sequel to that called Stereo Future, which is completely different. It's a bit of a weird movie, but again, I really like that movie as well. I like both of those. I think that Hideki Nakano, the director of both of those movies, did a great job, and I recommend going and checking those out. Yeah, other movies, of course. I mean, there are the famous ones. There's Shiko Funjata, Sumodu Sumodon. There's also Shall We Dance, which of course everyone knows by now. Ping Pong is a movie based on a manga. I kind of wanted to see it because the theme music for it was done by Supercar, which is one of my favorite. They're broken up now, but I really love them. One of my favorite Japanese bands. And yeah, the movie again is it's a pretty simple formula sort of movie. It's a lot like the Sumodo do Sumo don't kind of formula, but I really like that. So that's another good movie, Ping Pong. And also there's a movie Out of This World, or Kono Yo no Sotoe, which I was actually in for about 3 seconds as an extra. I think I was there as a what do you call it, occupation forces US soldier. I think it was the haircut. That was kind of fun, being a movie extra for a weekend. That's my one exposure on mainstream media in Japan. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, also TV dramas, I mean, they're not great quality, but they're fun and they're repetitive. They're good for intermediate level Japanese, especially if you rent them on DVD. And there's all sorts of, there's lots of dramas which are based on manga. So it's good if you're familiar with a manga, or there's a manga with a good reputation. In New Zealand, I used to watch whole series. I'd sit down with pizza, get some half Japanese friends and Japanese friends over. We'd sort of make a day watching 12 hours drama straight. And yeah, that was always fun. I haven't done that very much since I've been in Japan, but it was a really great way to learn. Podcasts. Quickly onto this. Yes, I am actually new to the world of Apple, and I do not know any podcasts. Although as soon as I came back from my vacation recently, the first thing I did was I got this baby, and this is brilliant. I'm loving this, and people have told me you will get addicted to podcasts when I get this, and I haven't started looking yet. But I actually, just in terms of what's good for English podcasts, I'm interested to hear from you. And I will actually ask the question next time I do a Japanese vid on my channel. I will ask my Japanese subscribers, what is a good, and even if you're watching this now, what is a good podcast in Japanese? What's an interesting podcast to listen to? Because yeah, I'd like to know myself. One thing I used to do back in 1999, before there was even the iPod, when I first arrived in Japan, I had long commutes. I had the same issue as you. I was on commutes, sometimes 2-hour long commutes. I used to go from Nakano to Noda on one of my jobs for a few months. And yeah, I would pass the time. I would listen to Japanese music. One thing, I stopped listening to all Western music. I would only listen to Japanese music on the trains, and I'd go to karaoke once a week. And karaoke is fantastic. I think I took up too much time on the last video talking about this, so I'll try to say this really efficiently. You can learn every kanji there is. You can learn, 20,000 words of vocabulary. But when you give a nervous, konnichiwa, watashi wa Hiko desu, watashi wa New Zealand kara kimashita. When you give an introduction like that, no matter how much kanji, no matter how well studied you are, no matter what you got on the proficiency exam, the next guy who comes along and says exactly the same thing, sounding normal, is going to leave the impression that he studied much more, he or she, even if they haven't. So this is the thing. I think the way that you sound, it's kind of faking it, but at the same time, I mean, it is really important how you sound. And the great thing about karaoke and about Japanese music is that grammar and vocabulary really isn't relevant, because they use stuff which you can never learn conversational Japanese from songs, because musical Japanese is completely different to spoken Japanese. So it's great because it's kind of gibberish, but it is spoken and sung in a Japanese sounding accent and so on. As I'm sure you know, Fatblueman, as a musician yourself, it means that when you learn Japanese music, you just focus very much on the sound, and on top of listening to yourself very hard to check if you're singing it right, you can also listen and check if your pronunciation is right, and if you're listening to it right, and why it sounds different, and go back and listen to something really hard. And just that exercise of just focusing on a 2 or 3 minute song a lot, listening to it lots of times, and practicing imitating it, and then nailing it in karaoke, is a great way to just get your sound really polished. And that's one of the things that I did really well when I came to Japan. I was much better at sounding like I spoke good Japanese than actually speaking or studying Japanese. And I was forced to study because I raised everybody's expectations that I was better at speaking Japanese. So it's a good way of faking. So I definitely recommend that. One other recommendation for a TV show is Kodomo no News on NHK. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking children's news. I don't want to watch a children's show. But it's really good. It's like a weekly roundup of news. It's on like 6:30, I think, on NHK1. And it actually, my theory on really brilliant people is this: really brilliant people, you get a lot of academics and purportedly smart people who talk in ways that are completely unintelligible to normal people. They like using big, cool words and explaining difficult concepts and so on. But really smart people can explain really difficult concepts in ways that children can understand. That's always the really genuinely smart people I've known have always been able to do that. And honestly, I think the people who work on this show are really brilliant, because they take on really difficult topics. You'd be surprised the level of news topic that they take on, like the loan scandals and bank bailouts and stuff like this, and they explain it in a way aimed probably at about a 13-year-old audience. But the explanations are really good. Even just in Japanese. I watch the normal news all the time anyway, but I just like it for the extra explanation and analysis. And it's great. It keeps you up to date, and it's relevant topics. It's often interesting news, and it's presented in a way that's easy to understand. I think for intermediate Japanese, where you probably are, I reckon it's the best thing on TV. I'd like to know more good TV shows that are on, because I'm a bit out of touch at the moment. So again, I will also go out and try to get more information from my subscribers on what's good on TV. And if you know, please write down podcasts, TV shows, movies, anything you recommend not for studying Japanese, but just that's in Japanese, that's fun for someone who speaks decent Japanese to learn. Please write them down here, or write them over on Fatblueman's video, which this is responding to. And so anyway, good to know you, man. thank you for the comments. Love it, and look forward to watching more of your stuff. Congratulations on all your success lately, and I'm sure you're going to be rocketing past a lot of us in no time the way that things are going for you. And yeah, I'm really glad it's working out. And thank you for the nice video, and thank you for prompting me to this video response. And good on you. Look forward to keeping in touch, man. Yoroshiku. Peace.